all the Disneyland experiences, watching the fireworks is probably one of the most iconic things that you can do. I mean, Walt Disney himself called them his kiss goodnight to his guests. And now that the fireworks have returned post-COVID, we find ourselves again wondering, where's the best place to view the fireworks? So clearly that's what we're going to be talking about. All the different places that I feel are the best to watch the fireworks fairly well unobstructed. And I'll give you the pros and cons for each so you can make a decision that fits what you are looking for in this experience. As usual, make sure that you like and subscribe and follow us on all our social media channels so that you can stay up to date with all the information that we have to provide for you guys. All right, let's get into these. There are some people that will tell you there are 3 locations to watch the fireworks. Others will say 4. I'm going to talk about 6 of them. And I will also explain to you why I see those as the 6 main places. So number 1, the most iconic, is right in front of the castle. And this counts the places that are not just immediately in front of the castle, but just throughout the entire central hub. These are the iconic spots that you can just see the castle very, very beautifully. It takes up your whole field of vision. The fireworks frame the castle wonderfully. You can see all the projections on the castle because, of course, most of the most recent fireworks shows have used projections. And from this area, this is one of the few places where you can also see the projections they put on the Matterhorn. They only put them on one side, and it's only the side that's really viewable from the central hub itself. And this is just really the place you want to be if you really want a photo of the fireworks over the castle. So this is where everyone wants to go. However, this is where I get into some of those cons about it. It gets extremely crowded in this area. You have to be there at least 30 minutes in advance, if not more, like 45 minutes to an hour early if you want to get a good spot to view the fireworks. There are some who are there 90 minutes, even 2 hours in advance, so they can scout out their spot and claim it for themselves way in advance. That's a whole lot longer than we are ever willing to wait for a 10-minute fireworks show. If you happen to get a spot that's in the hub, but it's too far to the left or right of the castle, there are a lot of trees that are going to obstruct your view. And so that can be really frustrating, that you want to see the castle, but you can only see part of it. And then that also kind of gets in the way of some of the fireworks. The second area is Main Street. There are some that would claim that this is the same as in front of the castle. It's not anymore. Ever since they started adding projections to the fireworks shows, Main Street USA has become a viewing location in and of itself. So this is any place where you can easily see any of the buildings on Main Street from where you're standing. Keep in mind that if you're watching from Main Street, you have to be in the road. They don't permit anyone to stop and watch the fireworks on the sidewalks. So the nice thing about that is that the castle will pretty much always be right centered in your field of vision, and it won't be covered up by trees. It is going to be a little bit further away, but the nice thing is those projections are now going to surround you. You can still see the projections in the castle, but now you can see them on Main Street as well. Now, the projections on Main Street are probably the best because they have the architectural details of those buildings in mind when they're designing these shows. And so it makes it a little bit more magical in my opinion. This is our favorite spot to view the fireworks because also you only need to be there 15 minutes ahead of time. And on some days, it's not uncommon to find that you can arrive just a few minutes before the fireworks begin and still find a really decent spot to view the fireworks. It does happen, so something to consider. Some of the cons, the fireworks and the castle are a little bit further away. And so it's difficult to see it, and if you want to get that picture of the castle with the fireworks, it's not going to happen very easily because it's such a distance from it. So that's not so wonderful. And then also it can happen, doesn't happen all the time, but it can happen that in this particular area, this is where you will think that you've scouted out a wonderful place, and then right before the fireworks begin, you get either a child put on their shoulders that blocks your field of vision, or someone else just runs in front of you and you no longer have that wonderful view anymore. It doesn't happen all the time, but this is like the only place I know of where that does happen at all. Number 3 location, by It's a Small World. They still put all the projections that they put on the castle and on Main Street on the facade of the attraction, and when you view it from the right angle, you can still see the fireworks over the facade because they're coming from Toontown, which is just behind it. So it still frames it beautifully, you still get all the music and everything, and you can actually show up there right as the fireworks are starting and find a good spot because it never fills up, ever. Some of the cons. The projections are not as nice on It's a Small World as the castle or Main Street. Also, some of the fireworks may not be in your field of vision because some smaller fireworks are actually set off closer toward the castle, and the music is not quite as loud there, and so you can start hearing more of the fireworks as they're popping, and you don't realize how much you don't get that when you're at the hub or on Main Street. Number 4 is the Rivers of America. If you find yourself over in like New Orleans Square or Frontierland or anything like that while the fireworks are starting, this is a wonderful place to view it because they turn on the water fans, water screens, if you will, from Fantasmic and put the projections there. And somehow the fireworks kind of frame themselves over Thunder Mountain very well. So it's a different kind of backdrop to the fireworks than you're used to, which is nice. And just like It's a Small World, this place doesn't fill up, hardly at all. And so it's great for last minute viewings of fireworks. Some of the cons, again, the music's not quite as loud, and so you're gonna be a little bit more aware of the fireworks as they're going off. But also, the fireworks are happening there, and the projections are happening there. And so you have to divert your attention between 2 different locations to be able to get the whole show in, and that can get frustrating for some people. So just keep that in mind. However, if you find yourself over on that side of the park and the fireworks have already started, it's going to be a so much better experience if you just wait there and watch it from there than miss most of them trying to work your way through the crowds to get to a spot somewhere else. Number 5. Inside Galaxy's Edge. If you go over near the Millennium Falcon, or even in that same area up on the balcony by Docking Bay 7, and look to the east, then you can see over the mountains of Batu all the fireworks that are right there. You're actually very, very, very close. And so it creates this wonderful visual of these mountains and the Falcon and these very large seeming fireworks because you're much closer than you are in other parts of the park. And this part of the park doesn't really fill up much either. Not really. And so it can be easy to find a last minute spot to view the fireworks. The biggest cons is that there is no projections and there is no music. They will not do anything to break the story of Galaxy's Edge. So no projections, no music, which also means that the fireworks are going to seem incredibly loud because there's nothing to cover up the sound of the explosions. Keep that in mind. But some people actually plan out their trip so they can watch the fireworks from there. Up to you. The 6th and last place I'm going to talk about is actually in the Esplanade. This is outside the park, the area between Disneyland and California Adventure. It never runs out of space. It's so huge. And so you don't have to worry about finding a good place to watch it. And the fireworks can still pretty much frame themselves over the Main Street train station, which is kind of cool. And you'll be able to see like 90 to 95% of all the fireworks that are going off, which is wonderful. Similar to Galaxy's Edge though, you won't see any projections and there will be no music. And so you're really just going there just to see the fireworks. But this can be a really good option if you don't have a reservation for Disneyland that day, or if you don't have park tickets at all and you still want to enjoy the fireworks. That's something. There are lots of other places around the Disneyland Resort to watch the fireworks. These are the ones that I think are accessible to pretty much everyone and will allow you to see the vast majority of the fireworks unimpeded. And so that's why I'm mentioning those ones. Let me know in the comments where your favorite spot is to watch the fireworks and why. Or if there's another place especially that I haven't talked about, and there are many, especially in hotels, and then help us understand why you like that, and maybe that can help other people if they're planning their trips as well to Disneyland. And as I mentioned before, make sure you like and subscribe. Keep coming back to get more of those tips that we share with you on our website or on Facebook or Instagram. And we thank you so much for your support and watching everything and sharing this, and we will see you guys next week. All right, bye.